Another day, another Banksy in London. The ninth artwork to appear in 9 days is a gorilla on the shutters at the entrance to London Zoo. The zoo left the shutter down today to make sure visitors got to enjoy the piece, but not everyone is convinced. Our arts and entertainment correspondent Katie Spencer reports.
Finally, it all makes sense, doesn't it? Popping up on the shutters of London Zoo, a Banksy breakout, or is it a break-in? Letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak, this gorilla who's seemingly been aiding the animals we've seen on an art trail which has swept through the city this August. From that first balancing goat to the two elephants touching trunks, swinging monkeys via a howling wolf, fish-eating pelicans, a big cat stretching, piranha police box, rampaging rhino, and now this.
Anatomically, I'm blown away by it.
London Zoo having to deploy extra security and rethink about how it opens up going forwards.
We don't want to raise the shutter because we don't want to damage any of the mural. We're good at protecting things. It's what we do. We protect wild animals, both here at the zoo, but critically also in their natural habitat.
Of course, you can never quite tell with an artist like Banksy, but this feels like it might just be the end of his animal run. Experts who have studied the Bristol street artist's other works, trying their best to figure out what we all want to know. What does it mean?
I think Banksy is an artist who thrives on ambiguity. But if there's one meaning that I would attach to this sequence of work, it's about sharing, it's about joy, and it's about a giving back to people at a time of real duress in the world, through animals and through sheer kind of exuberance.
Have the animals been making a break for freedom, or might they be returning to a place of safety?
Theorise all you like about what's going on here. The only thing we actually know, reportedly coming via Banksy's support organisation, Pest Control Office, is that it might not be that deep. Coming at a time when the news headlines are super bleak, they've said he apparently wants to cheer people up and engage with us in some creative play.
And he's certainly done that.
Just as we ran along, big crowd, thought the zoo's a bit popular, and then Laura said, "It's our Banksy."
It's wild to me that he was here maybe 12 hours ago.
It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty fitting.
But has Banksy now spawned a copycat? This, it would seem, is not the artist. Unclaimed by him, but also emerging overnight, sprayed onto the side of an exhibition space in Romford. There have been a few individuals over the last month recognising they can make a few quid by taking the free works away. While critics might say the street artist is overpriced and overrated, there are plenty who appear to have welcomed this summer distraction. See it while you can, draw from it what you will, because who knows how long it'll last or when Banksy will strike again. Katie Spencer, Sky News.
I'm joined now by Jasper Tordoffo, Banksy specialist at MyArtBroker. Welcome to you. So what is Banksy trying to tell us? What is he saying to us? How should we interpret the art that we've seen springing up across London over the last 9 days?
Yeah, hi Gillian, thanks for having me on. There's been so much speculation, and I think it was said before that Banksy thrives on speculation. There's been various theories going about where people are trying to decipher the meaning, and it's quite interesting how everybody suddenly wants to try and figure out there must be a strong meaning. I mean, typically we've seen Banksy be a really hard hitter with these kind of pieces. He's come in, he's made very big, bold political statements. For example, his works that he did in Kiev in Ukraine when obviously the war in Russia, the war in Ukraine started. So he's always at the forefront making strong political statements. But this sort of series of animals that he's been releasing via his platform are slightly softer. There's sort of an idea that people are saying, well, it's just for fun. It's to sort of lighten the moods, because obviously the headlines have been, quite distressing recently. But with Banksy, particularly old school Banksy, there's always a strong meaning behind these pieces. For example, one of the works that which he's most famous for, which is Girl with Balloon, which first appeared in the South Bank in 2002, which pictures a girl stenciled either reaching for a red balloon, which is supposed to symbolize hope. And the idea is she reaching for hope, or is hope sort of coming towards her? So the subjectivity has always been a huge part one of the big themes in Banksy's work has been animal welfare. We've seen this in a lot of prints that he's produced, particularly sort of work called Barcode, which really is a sort of a play on our sort of extortion of animals and how we try and commercialize animals in sort of different spaces. But it's really interesting how other people have, I mean, we don't really know. We're still sort of speculating. There was an idea that when the ibex goat, which was the first one to be released, that was a sort of a head nod towards the war going on in Gaza. And, you know, subsequently, as more pieces have been revealed, the theories have been debunked. So it's great. Everybody's speaking about it. And it's really what Banksy does exceptionally well, is he leaves enough out for us to speculate.
Yes, starts a conversation. With all of these animal depictions and ending up at London Zoo with the gorilla holding what seems like a curtain or some sort of screen up, could that be an interpretation that he's actually saying that animals shouldn't be held in captivity?
Again, that is a really sort of fair understanding of, or sort of decoding of what's going on. Some of the animals, the rhino, which appeared a few days ago, that's a massively endangered animal. And so, and again, the panther or the cat that's been sort of tied down, it looks like it sort of doesn't want to be in that position. It might be saying, you know, look, guys, look how we treat animals. Look how humans, look what we've sort of done to the world. And again, that's another way of interpreting it, because Banksy's always punchy. And so it's not good enough just to say this, that they're just for fun. And, you know, for sure, it's great that everybody's enjoying these, as they should. It's public art. But there's definitely something, there's a cutting edge there that the Banksy's, and it may well be actually that we're part of it. The facts are the public reaction to these Banksy's, i.e. they've been stolen, they've been defaced. And this has all been photographs. Everything's on camera these days. And maybe that's a way of Banksy saying, well, look how you're treating these artworks that should just be enjoyed. Look at what sort of society we're living in when people are potentially trying to sell these, the satellite dish, for example. It's stolen property. So maybe this is all part of the bigger picture that Banksy wants to sort of exploit.
You mentioned there that everything's on camera these days. I'm sure they're CCTV cameras at London Zoo. Bit suspicious that they didn't spot anything.
Exactly.
As to his identity.
Yes, I think I know Banksy's sort of got a team of people that does these works with him, so studio that sort of works on these pieces. And again, they're exceptionally well planned in terms of which way the CCTV's pointing, etc. For example, the swinging monkeys. It's amazing how somebody got up there. It's such a busy street. How did nobody see that? It still fascinates me that you can sort of get away with this, particularly in London, sort of a city that's always got something going on. But it's awesome, and it's been really fun in the last 9 days. Sort of, hopefully there'll be another one.
Do you think his popularity is based on the fact that he does have this anonymity? Nobody knows who he is, or she is.
Exactly, it could be either. And I think because, you know, Banksy makes such big statements in terms of, and you can sort of say these things behind the sort of mask that nobody knows sort of who you are. And I think that's the idea, and I mentioned it earlier, of we need to figure out, we want to know where it's coming from, what it's meaning. We're constantly trying to do this. And Banksy's got this sort of hidden mask, which everybody, I think is great. And it really allows him or her to create these pieces, and they have such a great impact, and people love them. He or she is almost like the Andy Warhol back in the sort of 60s and 70s, such a controversial artist that was producing some of the most important artworks that we know to date.
I'm not going to ask you to reveal their identity, but just one word, yes or no, do you know who they are?
I couldn't possibly say.